Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's your friend Patty here. Today's video is going to be a bit different, a bit more personal, and hopefully something that you can relate to. You'll notice that my videos are real. They're usually unedited, and I tend to shoot from the hip in my thought process. And today's inspiration came in the hot tub as I was thinking about what personal goals made the biggest impact on my personal growth and ultimately changed the trajectory of my life. There are three, and here they are. Goal number one was time management. Time management was my biggest weakness and greatest frustration in my late 20s and early 30s. I was actually a hot mess, constantly chasing my own tail and appearing very busy, but never truly finishing anything. I would hop from room to room with a clear plan of what I wanted to accomplish, only to be derailed by something that seemed equally urgent in the moment. And my ADHD was wreaking havoc on my productivity at every single turn. But I'm stubborn, and I was determined to crack the puzzle. Enter the to-do list. It was a game changer for me, and it became my daily guide, a steadfast tool in keeping me focused on specific goals throughout the day. I'll be honest though, committing to that list and completing the first task every morning was a challenge in the beginning. It took time to hone the skill, and I found myself talking through each step incessantly. If someone could peek into my thought process back then, it wouldn't have been pretty, but it worked in time. This habit of list making not only kept me organized, but it also significantly reduced my stress levels. It's how I ensure that everything on my list gets done, and often even more. I love adding things to my list just to cross them off. The feeling of accomplishment is incredibly gratifying. I hope you've been able to learn that skill as well. The crucial aspect of this goal setting, getting specific about the priorities that I had and estimating how much time each would take. On busy days, I even had to remind myself for morning self-care routines, like make sure you meditate, exercise, make your coffee, soak in the hot tub before diving into my priorities. My ADHD means I often want to dive straight into those tasks, which is productive, but I learned that balancing with self-care, which is a topic for another video, no doubt, is absolutely vital to my well-being. If you'd like more information about how I organize those lists, just let me know. I'm happy to do another short video on how I've honed this skill in detail. Drop a comment and let me know if that would be helpful to you. Goal number two was listening to my instinct. I consider myself incredibly fortunate to have had an amazing mother who was always encouraging me to trust my inner wisdom, my gut instinct. She was my biggest cheerleader, and she embodied what it meant to stay in tune with oneself, setting an example my entire life that has shaped who I am today. Her wisdom continues to guide me, even though she's no longer physically here. I feel as if she's passed the torch to me before she left this world, standing beside me as I share wisdom with others. Knowing she's with me, even as I talk to you today, brings me a peace that words can't fully capture. When you're young, hearing that inner voice or acknowledging its existence can be a challenge amidst all the noise, especially in today's world. We often let societal expectations dictate our decisions, which can leave us feeling empty, insignificant, or inauthentic. However, these feelings are signals from our body urging us to listen closely, and embracing these signals can create profound changes in our life. I have intentionally never put myself into a societal box. I've always marched to the beat of my own drum. Sometimes this path is lonely, especially in my youth, but I held strong to my inner voice, and it has never led me astray. It's guided me through relationships, taught me the importance of communication, patience, and being an example to my children, a role that I take very seriously, inspired by my mother. Time and time again, I have faced tough decisions where doubts could have clouded my judgment. Yet every time I trusted that inner voice, it steered me towards some of the best decisions of my life. My life motto has always been, life is always intended to move us forward. If we're quiet enough to listen, change will always come when and how it's supposed to. The more I've trusted this process, the more I have tuned in and become clearer, the more rewarding this path has become for me. At the halfway point through my life in my 50s, aiming for a long life like my two grandmothers who lived well into their 90s, I'm deeply grateful for establishing these personal growth goals so early on. Drop a quick comment if you feel like you've honed this skill and how it might have impacted your life. Or if you're yet to master this skill, let me know that too. I'm happy to go deeper into the topic on a later video. If I can help even one woman that's listening, that's important to me. You are important to me. And goal number 3 for me was creating my inner circle. In my 20s and early 30s, I had a vast social network that stretched far and wide. It was a time that I cherished deeply. Looking back, the part that stands out most was realizing the people that I surround myself with reflected who I was becoming. This awareness became paramount when I started my first business. I felt strong pull to align with individuals who embodied the ethics, professionalism, strengths, and insights that I aspired to cultivate. Initially, the hardest part of this was learning to let go of the relationships that no longer aligned with my personal goals. What I came to understand was that by stepping back, I often allowed space for their own growth. It was a profound realization that turned what could have been a really difficult transition into a positive one. During this time, I immersed myself into reading for inspiration and personal growth. I became an avid reader, soaking up all of the knowledge like a sponge. Following my instincts, I sought out teachings that resonated with me, each new piece of wisdom building on the last. This phase marked one of the steepest learning curves of my life, yet it was incredibly rewarding. It laid much of the foundation for the person I am today, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. The darkest days paved way for some of the brightest moments and the biggest blessings of my life. Today, while my outer circle remains rich with friends, I keep my inner circle small, very small. These relationships with my best friends, family, and husband form a fortress that anchors and strengthens my life. My greatest hope for you as you listen to this is that you too have found or will find the depth of these connections. It's an extraordinary place to exist. If you haven't yet, don't lose hope. Trust your inner wisdom. I promise you it's guiding you towards where you want to be. Like scaling a mountain, it might not always be easy, but the view from the top is breathtaking and unlike any other. Please feel free to share where you are in your journey in the comments below, as I firmly believe that as women, we are stronger together. And I'm here to cheer you on every step of the way. Throughout our lives, it's crucial to evaluate who influences us and who we influence. This awareness grants us immense power, the power to receive and equally the power to give and share. So as I wrap up, there you have it, my top 3 personal growths that have shaped my life. Remember, personal growth is a journey, not a destination. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like or subscribe for more content on personal growth and learning to live your best life. As I always say, life is always intended to move us forward. Trust in the process, and your rewards will come to you when the time is right. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, be good to yourself and be good to others.